I had to take them all down and move them to a room that wasn't being used. I sensed that someone was there, that we weren't alone, but I couldn't physically see them. I could hear them and I could feel them. I could hear the walking around. I actually mentioned to my parents once that I felt someone was following us everywhere we went, because it didn't matter what house we were in. I either sensed that somebody was with us, or I could hear what sounded like somebody walking around. Somebody was next to my bed or at the end of my bed. We lived in that house for about 12 months while my parents found another property to buy. My parents found another property. I'd finished school by this stage. My brother had gone to college. We'd be doing our everyday thing. Come nighttime, it would be the same thing. And it would always be really late at night, early morning stage. I would wake up to this sensation that somebody was next to my bed or at the end of my bed. This was most nights. It was nearly every night. My boyfriend, now husband, was staying over. One night we were in bed and he started talking in his sleep. It took me a minute to realise that it wasn't English that he was speaking, it was gibberish. I nudged him to try and get him to just roll over and, stop talking, but it didn't work. I nudged him again and again, and he wouldn't budge. I gave him a third shove a little bit harder. His eyes open and they were glowing that yellow-green colour. It completely freaked me out, and I was starting to just lay into him, like hitting, punching. And he goes, "Why are you hitting me?" I remember it like it was yesterday, but it was years ago. I said, "Your eyes were glowing green. You were talking gibberish. Your eyes opened and they were glowing green." And he didn't have any recollection of anything. I was so adamant, it freaked me completely out. And it was that night that I seen my first shadow in the corner of my room. Had me on edge. After that, we moved around a few times. It did settle down for a while. And then we moved to where we are now. We got married, we've had kids, we've got 3 boys. We moved to the house that we're in now. That's when things started to pick up, was when we moved to this house. I had been out to get takeaway dinner one night. I had my son in the back seat with me. As I came around the corner to where our shed is, I seen a shadow man. He had a coat on. It was just a black shadow. I could make out that he had a black coat on and he had a top hat. He was just hiding behind one of the trees we have in our garden, peeking around. I could see where he was standing. It was next to the footpath and behind this tree. I went inside, I told my husband I just seen a shadow man out by the tree in the garden near the shed. We had the room that we had our oldest son in every night without fail around the 1 o'clock mark.
Reddit internet sleuths arrived at the same conclusion. It's believed the transmitter was used to overpower the signal sent by the TV network. This transmitter was likely located somewhere high up, like a rooftop, between the TV network and the transmitter. In order to enact the hijacking, the overpowering transmitter had to be extremely powerful. Eventually, the FCC figured out that the background of the Max Headroom video was a warehouse. They tracked down a district with similar warehouse doors. The investigation went nowhere. Since 1987, several names have been thrown around as suspects, but nothing concrete. If those responsible are ever found, they would not be charged with anything. The 5-year statute of limitations came and went in 1992, and still no one was identified. It's been 36 years and the hijacking still remains a mystery.
As far as I can tell, a massive electric shock. He died instantly.
The Max Headroom incident may be the most notorious TV hijacking, but it's not the first or last. Just a year before Max, HBO was subject to a hijacking. The Falcon and the Snowman was airing just past midnight. East Coast HBO subscribers watched as the movie was cut off, and then a message appeared in its place. Good evening, HBO, from Captain Midnight. $12.95 a month? No way. Incident in a phone booth and filed a police report. John McDougall was an electrical engineer. He owned a TV satellite business but had to get a second job as a master control operator to make ends meet. He blamed HBO's rising prices, and his second job gave him access to hijack HBO. He was found guilty of transmitting without a radio license and was charged $5,000 as a fine and a year of probation. After Captain Midnight, satellite jamming became a felony. These broadcast signal intrusions are confusing and bizarre for viewers. I don't know if you've ever seen one. But because screens go black, it's easier to identify as a hijacking. Other intrusions have been just as creepy, but more difficult to identify as fake. Sometimes, when we're watching TV, a buzzing alarm goes off, followed by a banner that contains text on the screen and sometimes a voice message. The show remains in the background. This is the emergency alert system. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. This is the emergency alert system. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. It is a national warning system in the United States, and its purpose is for authorized officials to broadcast emergency alerts and warning messages to the public via cable, satellite, and radio. It was implemented in 1997, replacing an older alert system, and is usually used for local weather warnings or emergencies, though it is not perfect. When the wrong message is broadcasted to the public, it can cause a panic and hysteria. On January 13th, 2018, at exactly 8:04 a.m. in Hawaii, the Hawaii Emergency Management System sent out an EAS, a warning of an inbound ballistic missile, and the alert claimed that it was not a drill. It read, "Ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill." Hawaiians all received that message straight to their phones. In their televisions, they heard the following message. The U.S. Pacific Command has detected a missile threat to Hawaii. The missile may impact on land or sea within minutes. This is not a drill. The television broadcast stated, "If you are indoors, stay indoors. If you are outdoors, seek immediate shelter in a building. Remain indoors well away from windows. If you are driving, pull safely to the side of the road and seek shelter in a building or lay on the floor. We will announce when the threat has ended. This is not a drill. Take immediate action measures." Of course, chaos ensued. Hundreds ran for cover at a gymnastics meet in Kailua. Motorists sped to find cover. No missile threat to Hawaii. The problem? They sent it out in a tweet. The message didn't even reach those who weren't on the social media platform. Another 18 minutes went by before the emergency alert system alerted all mobile devices that it was a false alarm. It turns out an employee had accidentally pressed the wrong button. Instead of activating the drill, he activated the real alert. Mistakes with the EAS can be serious. While many false or accidental messages have been mistakes, the system has also been hijacked in the past. It was a Monday morning, February 12, 2013. The Steve Wilkos Show was on KRTV, which is a local channel in Great Falls, Montana. In New York, some were watching The Bachelor. Others a show on the CW or Pancake infomercials. They all got the same message. Civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living.
bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available. Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies as they are considered extremely dangerous. I repeat, civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available. Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies as they are considered extremely dangerous. This warning applies to all areas receiving this broadcast. Tune in to 9:20 a.m. to get updated information in the event that you are separated from your television or if electrical service is interrupted.
What is known is how the EAS system was hacked. The EAS uses decoders that allow authorities to interrupt broadcasts. The company that makes